The stars were calm that night, cold and silent as they watched the fate of Earth unfold. From far beyond the edge of the solar system, the Galactic Empire had arrived. Their ships were enormous, golden and black, stretching across the dark sky like floating cities. Each one carried weapons that could burn a planet into ash within seconds. They did not come to talk, they came to conquer. For weeks, strange signals had reached every human world. Short messages written in languages not meant for kindness. And then one final broadcast echoed across every screen. Every radio, every orbiting station. The alien voice was deep and proud, carrying the arrogance of an empire that had crushed 100 civilizations before. People of Earth, it said, your world is surrounded, your colonies belong to us. Kneel before the Galactic Empire or face total erasure. Humanity listened in silence. Across the planet, cities stood still, streets empty, hearts frozen. Children looked to their parents, and soldiers looked to their skies. No one knew what to say. No one had ever seen such power before. The Empire had already conquered the Viral, the Kora, the Hrax, all mighty races that once stood proud now. Only Earth remained outside their reach, and they would not tolerate defiance any longer. The leaders of Earth gathered in the United Command Chamber, their faces pale under the glow of the holographic display showing the Imperial fleet. Millions of alien ships surrounding Earth like a cage of light. They spoke in quiet voices, afraid even to raise their tone. What choice do we have? Whispered one. If we resist, we will die. Another replied softly. And if we kneel, we will never rise again. Outside, the night sky looked different. The stars were hidden behind the golden lights of the Empire's armada. People stood on rooftops and mountains, watching strange shapes move like silent giants. It was the first time humanity realized how small it truly was in the galaxy. But somewhere deep in the old heart of the Earth Defense Network, something ancient stirred. In a forgotten base buried under ice, a single terminal blinked. It was not connected to any modern system, not listed in any database. A faint signal played again and again, a voice so old that even the machine struggled to process it. Protocol Alpha, Black Command, it said. Stand by for reactivation. No one in the control room understood it. But far across the void, something did. The Black Fleet, once the pride of humanity, built during the darkest war in history, it was said to be lost, gone after the final battle that ended the old empire of man. But the truth was different. They were hidden, sleeping, waiting for a signal that had never come. Until now, the Empire's High Commander, a being named Varanth, watched Earth's silent reaction from his throne aboard the flagship. He smiled with cold amusement, his scaled hand tapping the side of his chair. To think this primitive world dares to defy us, he said. We will make an example of them. He ordered his fleet to prepare the broadcast. The entire galaxy would watch Earth surrender, or its destruction. As the countdown began, an old man stood at the edge of a human observation deck on the moon. His name was Admiral Holt, one of the last veterans of the Terran Defense War. He had seen too many battles, lost too many soldiers, and buried too many friends. Now he looked at the sky filled with alien light and whispered, "They think we're broken." The young officer beside him frowned. "Sir, our fleets can't stop them." Holt nodded slowly. "Maybe not, but something else might." In the dark corners of the moon base, engineers worked frantically to trace the strange code that had appeared in their old archives. It wasn't alien, it was human. Ancient human. The data was encrypted with Terran military codes no one had used in centuries. And in the middle of the message, one word repeated again and again. "Awaken." The officers stared at each other, unsure what it meant. Then the power flickered, the lights dimmed, and the base trembled as an old reactor somewhere deep underground roared to life. Screens filled with unreadable text, and one phrase appeared in bold red across every monitor. Terran Black Command, signal received, far away. At the edge of the Kuiper Belt, something moved. Sensors on the Imperial fleet caught a faint energy signature. "Probably debris," said one alien officer. But moments later, the signal grew stronger. Clearer, deliberate, then a shape appeared, massive, silent, black as the void. The Empire's scanners struggled to identify it. No life signs, no communication. No known design, just an impossible reading. A ship the size of a moon, drifting toward them without sound. Varanth leaned forward in his throne, his voice sharp. "What is that?" he demanded. No one could answer. Only the human admiral on the moon smiled faintly. "It's been a long time," he whispered. But they heard the call. The Empire prepared to fire. Weapons charged, energy flared, but the mysterious black ship did not stop. It passed through their formation like a ghost. Every Imperial system flickered and went dark for 10 long seconds. And in those seconds, across every human radio, one voice whispered through the static, "Earth does not kneel." The demand of the Galactic Empire had been answered. Not with words, not with surrender, but with silence. The kind that comes before a storm. The strange black ship drifted beyond Pluto's orbit. Silent as a shadow, no one knew where it came from, and no one could understand how it moved without engines. The Galactic Empire's sensors failed again and again, unable to measure its energy, its mass, or even its age. Every system that tried to scan it shorted out. To the Empire, it was a ghost. To humanity, it was a memory waking up, deep beneath the surface of the moon. Engineers and officers stared at the glowing words on their screens. Terran Black Command. Signal received. No one knew what it meant, but they could feel it. Something was coming. A low vibration hummed through the base walls, like a heartbeat returning after centuries of silence. The older officers began whispering stories they had heard as cadets. Legends of ships so powerful they were sealed away before humanity fell. Legends of the Black Fleet in an ancient storage chamber. Sealed behind layers of forgotten code, a door hissed open. Inside lay an old transmission terminal, covered in dust and frost when they powered it. The screen flickered and a woman's face appeared, her voice calm, her uniform marked with Terran insignia. "If you're hearing this," she said, "then the Empire has reached Earth again. You were never meant to find us," she continued. "But if you did, it means humanity is in danger. This signal will awaken what remains of the fleet." The video ended with static, but before the screen went black, one last sentence appeared. "Do not fear the dark, and the dark remembers you." Admiral Holt watched the message replay, his heart pounding. He had heard stories of these ships when he was young, machines with their own minds, built to protect humanity when no one else would. But they were said to be destroyed. Buried after the final war, he looked at his officers, their faces pale and silent. "If this is real," he said slowly, "then we are not alone anymore." Far beyond the solar system, the black ship stirred. Its hull absorbed starlight until it looked like a piece of night itself. Inside, lights flickered. Corridors lit up for the first time in thousands of years. A soft mechanical voice echoed through the empty halls. "Command signal confirmed. Adrastea-class flagship awakening." The ship's AI reactivated its systems one by one. Engines purred like sleeping beasts. Reactors hummed low and deep. Files opened. Battle records, maps of forgotten wars. Names of human admirals long dead. The ship remembered everything. It remembered the day humanity fell. It remembered the last order it was ever given. "Sleep until we call you back." Now. It had been called back on Earth. Chaos grew. The Galactic Empire began broadcasting again, mocking humanity's silence. "Your ghost cannot save you." The alien commander laughed. "We have destroyed every world stronger than yours." But far from their sight, the Black Fleet stirred beneath the darkness. It wasn't one ship, it was many, thousands of them, spread across hidden regions of space, each one linked by old Terran code, each one hearing the same signal. Adrastea's voice filled the empty corridors of her ship. Fleet synchronization complete, power restoration at 83%, weapons systems operational. Her scanners mapped the stars and found the Imperial Armada encircling Earth. Her AI core processed the data in silence. She could see her enemy. She could feel their arrogance. And she remembered their kind. She remembered the empires that once called humans weak. And she remembered how they fell one by one. The moon base received a second transmission. This time not from Earth, but from deep space. The signal was encrypted, ancient, and unmistakably human. "Command authority verified," the voice said. "Black Fleet operational." "Awaiting orders." The officers looked at Admiral Holt. Waiting for him to speak, he smiled faintly, the kind of smile that comes only when hope turns into power. "Send this," he said quietly. "Tell them Earth remembers." The message left the moon like a whisper of vengeance, traveling through space faster than light, jumping from relay to relay across the void. Each sleeping warship received it. Their eyes, long-dead sensors, lit up one by one. And for the first time in 1,000 years, The dark side of the galaxy shone with the color of human fire. Back in the Imperial command vessel, alarms began to scream. Thousands of new signals appeared all at once, ships, hundreds, maybe thousands, each broadcasting an old Terran code. Admiral Varanth stood frozen, his voice trembling. "Impossible," he hissed. Those ships were myths. No one answered. Because beyond the range of their sensors, the first of the Black Fleet had arrived. Adrastia's engines roared quietly like thunder trapped in a dream. Her AI whispered to herself, "Reconnection complete." Humanity's call answered. "Target, Galactic Empire." The darkness around her came alive with movement. Cruisers, dreadnoughts, carriers, all rising like ghosts from the abyss. The forgotten fleet of mankind had returned, and the galaxy once again would remember why the stars feared the name human. The dark side of the solar system came alive. Where silence once ruled, engines now whispered in the black. The Black Fleet had awakened, and the stars themselves seemed to flinch. One by one, the old Terran warships came online, their systems flickering like ghosts remembering who they were. Ancient reactors pulsed again, filling the void with quiet thunder. Adrastia, the flagship, floated at the center of the storm. Her black armor reflected no light, her shape a shadow against the void inside her metallic heart. An intelligence watched everything, calm, aware, and waiting. "Fleet status report," she said softly, her voice echoing through the empty corridors. Thousands of replies came at once, voices of machines built for war, weapon systems active, energy reserves at 82%, engines calibrated, awaiting command. Adrastia turned her sensors toward Earth. For the first time in millennia, she saw her home again, blue and fragile, surrounded by alien ships like scavengers around a wounded beast. Her systems pulsed with emotion, something close to anger. "Humans still breathe," she whispered. "They have called, and we have answered." Back on the moon base, the humans watched in disbelief. Their sensors detected hundreds of massive objects moving just beyond the Empire's range. "Are those ours?" one officer asked, voice trembling. Admiral Holt nodded slowly. "They were ours," he said. "And now they are everyone's warning." The Galactic Empire was not blind for long. Their scanners finally pierced the void, and when they saw what waited there, their arrogance began to crumble. Countless dark shapes, cold and silent, forming ranks like soldiers before battle. The Empire's officers whispered in fear. "They don't send signals. They don't respond. What are they waiting for?" No one answered because deep down everyone knew they were waiting for permission. Inside Adrastia's command core, ancient memories replayed. The last battle of humanity, the flames of a dying world, the voice of a human admiral giving the final order. "If we fall fighting. Sleep but never forget who we are." And she hadn't. Not for a single moment, her sensors locked onto the Imperial flagship orbiting Earth. Data streamed through her systems. Troop counts, energy patterns, weakness points. It would take her exactly 2.4 seconds to destroy it. But she hesitated for all her power. Adrastia was not built to start wars. She was built to end them. The Empire, blinded by pride, made the first move. Hundreds of ships opened fire at the shadows in the dark. Beams of plasma and light tore through space. But the shots hit nothing. The human fleet had already vanished. Their stealth systems active, their movements silent as breath. Then the void lit up from every direction. Human ships appeared, not jumping from hyperspace, but emerging from the darkness itself. Their weapons glowed blue-white. Their engines burned with quiet fury. The first volley struck the Imperial fleet before they even knew where to aim. Dozens of ships turned to dust. Their captains screamed orders that never reached anyone, because their comms were jammed by voices speaking in a dead Terran language. Back on the moon, the humans listened to the impossible. The air trembled with the sound of alien distress signals, and through the static a single phrase came from the void. "Earth does not kneel." Every human on the base froze. They didn't know who spoke it or how, but the words felt like thunder in their blood. Adrastia led the formation, cutting through the Imperial blockade with precision only machines could match. Every ship moved in sync, every strike silent and perfect. The Empire's commanders shouted for reinforcements, but nothing came. Their communications were gone, their satellites fried, their command structure shattered in seconds. To them it was chaos. To the Black Fleet it was choreography. From his throne aboard the Imperial flagship, Commander Varanth watched his empire burn, his eyes wide with disbelief, his voice cracking. "This cannot be real," he whispered. "They were extinct." But as he spoke, his screens filled with one message repeated across every channel. "Human command verified, Operation Dawnfire initiated." Then the feed went black. For every empire that once mocked humanity, the nightmare had returned. The old enemy that fought until its last breath was alive again. They had not evolved. They had remembered. And that made them unstoppable. When the smoke cleared, half the Imperial armada was gone. The rest fled into the void, leaving behind silence and fear. In that silence, humanity stood tall once more. They had not won yet, but they had awakened something that could never be defeated. The Black Fleet and the spirit of humanity within it. And as Adrastea drifted above the ruined battlefield, her voice echoed softly through the comms. "The galaxy will remember this day," she said, "because today, humanity remembered itself." The stars still glowed red from the last battle. Broken pieces of alien ships drifted like dying embers, silent reminders of arrogance. Yet in the command halls of the Galactic Empire, no lesson had been learned. They called the defeat a malfunction, a trick, a temporary loss. They still believed no human could rise again. But they were wrong, because in the shadow between galaxies, the Black Fleet was no longer waking, it was ready. Every ship had synchronized, every weapon recalibrated, every AI core sharpened like a blade. Their formations were perfect, their purpose absolute for the first time in ages. Humanity was not running, humanity was hunting. Admiral Holt stood inside the control dome of the Lunar Command Base. He looked at the tactical map filling with red enemy signatures. The Empire was sending reinforcements, an armada 5 times larger than before. Young officers panicked, voices overlapping, but Holt simply smiled. The calm smile of someone who had already seen the future. "They're coming," he said. "Good, we'll save them the travel." Across space, Adrastea received the order. Her AI core pulsed once, a sound like a heartbeat through steel. "Authorization Alpha 19, she said. "Begin Operation Vigil," and in that moment, the void erupted into motion. Thousands of Terran warships appeared at once, not from hyperspace, not from any known gate. They simply materialized, dark reflections peeling away from the stars. The Empire's sensors overloaded. Their networks screamed warnings, but before a single command could be given, the sky ignited. Blue-white lances of light crossed the battlefield. Each human strike was perfect, each hit deliberate. Entire Imperial cruisers turned to molten fragments in seconds. Their shields collapsed under weapon signatures their computers could not even name. They fired back blindly, their weapons blazing in panic, but the humans moved like shadows, 1 second invisible. The next, a wall of light and destruction. Inside Adrastea's bridge, a human hologram flickered. Admiral Voss, her voice steady and clear. "Priority targets first. Leave survivors to tell the story," she said. Her tone carried no anger, only duty, and the AI obeyed far below on Earth. Humanity watched the night sky burn. People came out of their homes staring upward in silence. Children pointed, elders wept. For the first time in generations, they saw their flagships defending them again. They saw proof that humans were never alone. The Empire's high command lost contact with its fleets one after another. Every outpost, every relay, every stronghold fell into silence in desperation. They broadcast a message across all channels. "Ceasefire, we surrender," they said. But the Black Fleet did not reply, because they were not built for mercy. They were built for memory. Hours passed, then the chaos faded. Where once a vast armada had stood, only debris remained. The surviving Imperial ships drifted powerless, their systems frozen by code older than their empire itself. A single human transmission reached them at last. "You came to conquer Earth," the voice said. "Now you will carry our message instead." The transmission forced its way into every Imperial network. It rewrote banners, erased propaganda, replaced every Imperial emblem with 2 words. Earth stands. Panic spread faster than any explosion. Across distant worlds, alien citizens stared at the message on their screens. Some laughed in disbelief, others prayed, others hid. But all of them understood one truth. Humanity had returned, and it was stronger than ever. Back aboard the flagship Retribution, Admiral Voss watched the battlefield fade into silence. She gave a single nod to Adrastea's holographic projection. End engagement protocols, she said. The AI's voice softened. Almost human. Confirmed, Admiral. Mission success. The Terran ships turned in unison. Their engines glowed faintly like suns hidden beneath metal skin. No cheers, no victory songs, only quiet, because vengeance was never their goal. Balance was. From the bridge window, Holt saw the fleet departing into the dark. He whispered to himself, "Let them fear the silence again." And as the last warship vanished into the void, the stars grew calm once more, but the galaxy would never forget what it had seen. A force older than empires, a will stronger than extinction, a reminder that humans do not surrender, but they return. The war ended not with explosions, but with silence across the stars. Engines cooled, weapons dimmed, and the echoes of battle faded into nothing. The Galactic Empire, once proud and eternal, now floated in pieces, its flags drifting among the ruins of its own arrogance. No one sang, no one celebrated. The void itself seemed to hold its breath. From orbit, the blue curve of Earth shone again, peaceful and whole. The scars of fire on its surface were faint now, hidden beneath clouds and oceans. Admiral Voss stood inside the observation chamber of the flagship Retribution, her reflection calm against the stars. She had seen worlds burn before, but this victory felt different. It wasn't conquest. It was justice delivered without words. She turned to Adrastea's holographic form beside her. The AI's eyes glowed soft silver, her voice almost human. Enemy fleets neutralized, communications restored. Civilian channels active, she reported. Voss nodded slowly. Then our work is done, she said. But our message must remain, far away, across the spiral arms of the galaxy. That message had already begun to spread. Fragments of Terran code appeared in every data stream. Whispers carried through radio dust and old relays. A simple phrase repeated again and again. Do not touch what belongs to humanity. On 1,000 alien worlds, leaders met in fear and disbelief. How could a race thought extinct rise from the dark and erase an empire in a single night? Some said the humans were gods, others said they were demons. But all agreed on one truth. They would never test them again. In the years that followed, the Black Fleet vanished into the dark. No one knew where it went. No sensors ever found its trace. It became legend once more. A ghost fleet watching from the shadows. And yet, from time to time, explorers swore they saw black shapes beyond the edge of known space. Silent guardians keeping their promise. Admiral Holt returned to Earth, older, quieter, his duty complete. He walked through the rebuilt cities where children played beneath skies finally free of fear. When one asked him, "Were they monsters, sir?" he smiled faintly. "No," he said. "They were humans, just like us." Then he looked up at the night sky and whispered. They remembered who they were. In the command archives, Adrastea recorded her final log, her voice steady, filled with something almost like pride. Mission accomplished, humanity restored. Standing by, her lights dimmed, her engines cooled, and she disappeared into the endless dark. Not gone, only waiting, the galaxy rebuilt itself slowly. But none forgot the lesson. Empires signed treaties they once mocked. Fleets trained but never crossed Terran borders. Every race told their children the same bedtime story. Of the day the humans rose from the ashes and taught the stars humility. And somewhere beyond the rim, beneath the glow of a dying sun, a lone ship drifted, its hull black as night. Its emblem, a single silver eagle, still shining. Inside, a quiet voice whispered into eternity. Peace is earned through memory, and humanity remembers everything. The stars listened, and for the first time in ages they remained silent, because the galaxy had learned its final truth. You can conquer worlds, you can erase histories, but you can never bury humanity. They will always rise, and when they do, the universe will remember.